great about that, other than trying to help people who are in a state of invasion. Welcome back to the Immigration Answer Show. My name is Jim Hacking. This is episode number 793 of the Immigration Answer Show. How's everybody doing? Hello to my friends on TikTok. Hello to my friends on YouTube. I forgot to send out the text. I wrote the text, but I forgot to hit send, so it just went out. So we might have some people joining us a little bit late, but that might mean it's a good opportunity for you to get in the waiting room, which is filling up fast. Looks like it is already just about full. How's everybody doing? I'm dressed up today, not because I'm going anywhere, although I am going to the Egyptian in St. Louis party later today, but I shot some videos today. Let's see, what did I do? Oh, what should I do if my filing is rejected? So I made that video because there is a poor brother who filed for a change of status, and that was denied. Actually, it might have been an extension of status that got denied. And so he only had 30 days to file a new a motion to reopen, which he shouldn't have done anyway, but it got rejected. And then they sent it back to him and he refiled it. It got rejected a second time. And by then he had blown the deadline. He had blown the 30 days of filing the motion to reopen, which he should have done. So we talked in that video about what do I do if my filing rejected, sort of how a rejection is different than a denial. All right, the next one was lawsuits for delayed green cards. So we're going to make videos about what the lawsuits are like for each of the kind of lawsuits that we file. So we have filed hundreds of lawsuits for people whose green cards are delayed. They're my favorite. We've probably done 600 or 700 of those. Those are really good ones to file lawsuits on, and I made a video talking about that. The third video I made was about Trump declaring war on immigration lawyers. So last night, he published a new executive order, one of his rantings that really has no basis in law or fact. It's just sort of crazy talk from him and his Project 2025 fanboys. He's complaining about one of my personal heroes, an attorney named Mark Elias, and he's complaining about lawyers not being sanctioned, which is such a freaking joke when you think about the fact that Donald Trump filed over 60 lawsuits challenging the results of the 2020 election, and he lost every single one of them. So if there's ever been a litigant who has filed more frivolous lawsuits than Donald Trump, I don't know him. I don't know who that would be. Thank you for the love on TikTok. Somebody just gave me a orange crown or something. The other day I had a little Mexican hat. I really like the hat with the mustache. That was fun. And then the next video, I'm telling everybody not to leave the United States if you're not a U.S. citizen. And a lot of people are fighting me about that on social media. People are really mad that I said that. And those videos that we did, the YouTube one has 130,000 views, and the TikTok one we just went over 5 million views on that one. I think we touched a nerve. And a lot of people are fighting me on that. But what I did in this video was I talked about, well, if you're going to come back to the United States after having been overseas, what do you do with your phones? What do you do at the border? And sort of talking about all of the discretion that CBP officers have on who they let into the United States. And then the last video that I did, which I just finished a minute ago, was on, last night, again, Donald Trump's assault on legal immigration continues. The Department of Homeland Security is going to try to revoke the parole status that was granted to almost 500,000 people from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. And you can expect that they'll do the same thing for the Ukrainians. That's coming too. Now, this is already being litigated. I love that everybody's giving each other love in the comments. I appreciate that, Laura and Hina and everybody else. I appreciate all the positive comments that we're seeing over there. And so you can expect that that this will be litigated. This attempt to try to turn off the parole, to cancel the parole of people from those countries and from Ukraine. It seems to me pretty illegal what they're doing. But again, they don't care. They just do what they want. So it's going to take lawyers and judges to stick up to them. Let's say hi to Traylene. Hello, Traylene.
Hello, Jim. How are you?
Well, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. I just have a really quick question. This is in regards to the travel ban. So my husband's country is in the yellow, and I know that it's not in effect. I'm just trying to get prepared mentally. We are right at the point of waiting for an interview.
Yeah.
So if the travel ban goes into effect before he gets his interview, then what happens with our case?
I would expand your question a little bit, because I think, based on my experience of 4 years of the Muslim ban under the first president Trump era, was it's not whether it goes into effect before he gets his visa. It's actually if it goes into effect before he gets on the plane. So in other words, if he doesn't have his visa in hand and is in the United States, then he's not going to be allowed to come.
Okay, so then let's just say that happens, and then let's say 4 years, well, when he's done being president,
Yeah.
the ban is lifted. What happens to our case? Do that mean we have to start all over? They deny it, and we
No, in that scenario, he'd be pretty close to the front of the line.
okay.
I can't believe we're even talking about this, but that's how it worked last time.
I can't either. We've been 2 years in this process.
Like, you've waited long enough
to get to where I'm just devastated. But I'm hoping, I hear that the president is working on the deficiencies there, and hopefully they will get off the list. I'm hoping, but I just need to be prepared mentally in case.
I think the yellow countries are ones where they're trying to get them to accept more deportees. So hopefully that's something that can be negotiated out with the State Department. But who the hell knows?
Yeah, this is true. I did see a video and they were talking about that, and they said they were trying to get him to do it virtually, and they're trying to work on that. So I'm hoping that's what happens. But just in case, I want to be prepared. Thank you so much for everything that you do. I'm a regular listener.
And I appreciate. That's why I came to you first. I saw you in there, so thank you.
And listen, sometimes I'm just going to say this really, really quick to everybody. Please, you come on here, you tell us you have a lawyer, and then you ask Jim questions. Ask your lawyer. If you don't think your lawyer is good, then go to Jim. Just go ahead and let him be your lawyer.
I like
That's
it.
what I say. Don't you agree?
I do. Thank you, Traylene. See ya.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. That was great. We should clip that, Hina. That'll be fun. I think the whole marketing team would like that. That's good, because a lot of people do come on here and talk about they can't get answers from their attorney. But of course, I'm not handling day-to-day cases. That's why I get to do this show. I made Amani mad the other day because she had a really hard day. We had some issues come up, and it was a long day for her. And I came out and I said, man, I did a video interview on Canadian TV. I did a radio interview in my car on Canadian TV. I made 5 videos, and I posted a LinkedIn. And I'm really tired. She really got mad because, what I do isn't real legal work. But yeah, I don't handle day-to-day cases anymore. I hop in and help when I can, but I was tired too. Just not as tired as her, and she's doing real work. Ravina, hello.
Hi, Mr. Jim. How are you?
I'm well. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you. Thank you for helping us all out in this situation that we're all in.
My pleasure.
I'm talking on behalf of a family friend of mine.
Perfect.
And so she came into this country in 2005 as a tourist, and then transferred under a dependent of her husband's H1 visa. So she was under H4 at that time. So she went from tourist to H4 along with her two kids. And in 2012, her husband passed away. She ended up overstaying her visa.
By just a bit.
I'm sorry?
By just a bit.
Yeah. I mean, no, by many years.
15 years. Yeah, right. Okay.
Yes. So in 2023, around this time, March, she married a U.S. citizen.
Okay.
Sorry, 2024. My mistake. Sorry, 2024. She married a U.S. citizen, and she applied for her adjustment of status in January this year. So she got a receipt from USCIS on January 27th of
Okay.
2025.
Yeah.
Um, and within a couple of weeks, she got an appointment for biometrics. She did her biometrics, and that was on, I think, February 21st. And on March 19th, a few days ago, she has directly received an interview notice for next month.
That's pretty
Um,
fast.
yeah, it is pretty fast. And she lives in the United States Virgin Islands. It's known to be a little faster because I'm not sure if that's true or not, but
Probably
they
because
took
probably
her.
because probably because there's not a lot of people getting green cards in the U.S. Virgin Islands.
I'm sorry?
Probably because there aren't that many people applying for green cards in the U.S. Virgin Islands, so I would think it would be fast.
Well, maybe that, but at the same time, they didn't give her her social security, which she applied for, the EAD. They didn't give her that. The interview came in almost 2.5 months. And being in the Virgin Islands, you know a little bit of things, and we also have understood that a lot of cases in Florida and Miami are also going that fast. And a couple days ago, we saw in the news that they detained people at their interview in Miami.
Yep.
And I saw a lot of you know, people like posting the same thing, that their interview got scheduled really fast, and they're in the Florida area, which is very close to U.S. Virgin Islands. So I mean, she's been in the country for a long time. She is very nervous too. I mean, in this kind of situation, when they're saying they're going to just detain you at the interview and call you for an interview, does something sound? What is your suggestion on that? I mean,
So, is her interview going to be in Florida or in the Virgin Islands?
in the Virgin Islands.
So, I think she's probably not going to get lopped into that approach to things. I do think I've been thinking about this the last couple of days. So, some people might think that this publicity that CBP is getting, I'm shifting gears here to make my point, okay? Some people might think that the publicity that CBP is getting about these green cards they're detaining, about that actress from Canada that didn't get her TN, some people might think that this publicity is something that the government doesn't really want. But in fact, they really do want this publicity. They really want people to be scared. They really want people to be freaked out. And they want people who have been in the United States out of status for 13 years, who are going to their green card interview, to be scared about the possibility of getting taken into custody. Right? So it's a feature, not a bug. It's not by accident that those stories made the news, right? So I do think that we might start seeing selective places and random spouses of U.S. citizens who've been in the country for a long time out of status getting put into removal and detained at a USCIS interview, right? So I think people need to start getting their minds around that. I've been telling my team that we need to start preparing our attorneys on what to do if that happens. I mean, to me, if I were there and that started happening, the one thing I would ask is, can we do the I-130 discussion while the person's still here? Because I'd want to get that I-130 approved. That's what I'd be focused on. So if I'm someone in your friend's situation, number one, there's no way in hell I'd go to an interview without a lawyer. Number two, I would be prepared for the fact that I might not come home with my spouse that day, but I would know in the long run that I'm going to get to stay in the United States. I'm not going to be deported, or that I shouldn't be deported, that they should allow the I-130 to process, and they could adjust in court. She's been here 13 years, so she's not subject to expedited removal. She's going to get to see a judge, and she's going to get out on bond. So it might be very uncomfortable, but the stakes have gotten a lot higher to actually get that green card if you are out of status. So you're going to be much more scared when you go to the USCIS office, and there's a chance that you get taken into custody. They should not deport you. You should get to see a judge, and you should have a long-term approach of being able to stay here. You have a path to stay. Again, this is why this person shouldn't have waited until January of this year to file. They should have filed the day after they got married. But I think this is just now the new reality that we're in.
Okay, thank you, and I appreciate that. And do you think? I mean, I don't know much about this, but are there options to reschedule the interview?
Why would they do that?
I I don't know. No. I mean, she would want to request a
Right.
reschedule.
Why would she do that? That's just kicking the can down the road.
I mean, to better understand what is going on, because this news has recently come up about the picking up people at the interview.
I think this is the new reality. I think that spouses of U.S. citizens who are out of status are going to have to face the fact that when they go in for their interview, they might get put into removal.
So
So she can't ever get into status if she doesn't get that I-130 approved, and the I-130 is not going to be approved unless she shows up to an interview, right?
right.
Without that approved I-130, she is deportable. Without that approved I-130, she has nothing keeping her here. So she has to take the risk and go to the interview and be prepared to bond her out, be prepared to sit in immigration detention for a week or two, hopefully, and then see what happens.
So now, okay, I understand that. Thank you. And so the thing is, like you said, right, everybody now going into an immigration office is going to be already freaked out. They're going to be scared to go in there, no matter what, right? So if they're nervous, her and her husband, and they just something goes wrong in the interview, what happens then?
Well, what do you mean something goes wrong? They don't answer the questions right?
Yeah, maybe okay, so being in the US Virgin Islands, you really cannot even leave the US Virgin Islands to go to another state because you have to pass customs.
Yeah.
And she has not left in basically 18 years. She's been on a small little place for 18 years. She's already mentally very exhausted and afraid of officers, which she has not seen in years. So there are chances she might just get nervous for no reason just looking at them.
Yeah.
And you might
I went to a naturalization interview this week with someone who has nothing to be nervous about. He's this close to becoming a citizen, and he was scared to death.
Yeah.
He didn't even have any chance of getting taken into custody. So I get it, but I mean, to me, it's like in the Bible, she's got to walk through the valley of darkness to get to the light, right? And I think having a lawyer, Robert's right, bringing an attorney will really help her anxiety. I think going in there with just my spouse who's well-intentioned but just doesn't know anything. I also think they might be a little less aggressive if there's a lawyer there.
Okay, so if there's a lawyer, but they can still detain her like what they did in Miami, or
Sure.
right? They
Sure.
can. They can still do whatever they want.
Yep.
Wow. It's so I don't know what to say, but thank you, Mr. Jim. I really one more question. So for some reason something happens and she does decide to reschedule it. If God forbid an emergency happens and they do reschedule it, what are the consequences?
Well, they might just deny it, and they might just come looking for it. Like let's say that they're planning on the day of her interview to take her into custody and to start removal proceedings against her. Let's say that's true. If she doesn't show up for her interview and reschedules it, then those guys are just going to leave the office and just go over to her house. So I don't think that does anything.
So rescheduling is not suggested. Even if it's somebody's sick, what happens?
Well, I just made a video that if you miss your interview for whatever reason, even valid reasons, who are sick, that puts you to the top of the fraud chart. I think they think that if they smell blood, if you don't show up for your interview, even if somebody's sick, they smell blood and then they get more aggressive, not less. So I would not miss the interview.
And I know I don't want to take too much of your time. I know there are a lot of other people are waiting, but recently, have you seen anything go wrong in any of your cases at the interview, something like this?
No, not yet, but I want my lawyers to be ready. That's what I want to talk about with the firm on Monday. No, but I think it's going to start.
Oh my God. And it's going to start exactly when they have to go. Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Jim. I really, really appreciate it.
You got it. Good call. That was a good call. Lots of people are having those same questions she had. That's why I was more than happy to ask or answer all of the questions that she had, because a lot of people are having those exact same concerns, and I probably need to make a video about that. But I'm done making videos for today. I'm just doing the show. Hey, Jim, my I-130 was approved. I'm in the USA. My asylum also approved. How is the green card process? I think you'd probably want to get your green card through asylum. It's probably going to be faster if the asylum's already been granted. It depends on the timing of everything. Hey, I'm getting gifts on TikTok. Isn't that fun? Can I file the I-130 for my husband if his removal proceedings are administratively closed? You can file the I-130. You can't file the 485. Luis says, I had an 8-hour interview. They bombarded me with lots of questions. That sucks. I've been on 8-hour interviews, but only once in my whole career. Abu Shibshib is back. Let's see if he's got his audio working. Hello.
Hey, Jim. How are you? Can you hear me?
Oh, I'm good. How are you? I knew who this is.
Yes, you probably recognize my voice. It's just that I don't have my face on camera for obvious reasons.
That's good. I haven't heard from you in a while. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I mean, minding my own business as an F1, so not much questions. But I've been watching the show lately, and I loved the ship yesterday.
I mean, they know me at Lifetime for walking around with my shibs.
Great. I have a few questions for you today, if you don't mind, please.
Sure. But I love the word ship, but I love the word in Spanish better, chancla, the chancla. Because I read a great book, and it was all about the mom would always chase the kids with the chancla. All right, so go ahead. Let's hear your questions.
Great. So at this point, I know that you have hammered in your opinion on traveling outside the United States. And as an F1 student, I'm not traveling outside the United States.
Smart.
Because I cannot afford to be in a position where I'm told you're not getting your master's degree here.
Right.
But my question for you is, I'm on an F1 visa. I'm in valid status. My I-20 is active. I'm over here doing what I need to do. Everything is good. What is your opinion on traveling domestically between state to state?
I don't have a problem with that. I mean, if someone's in valid immigration status and they have documentation of such, I think traveling within the 48 states is just fine.
Okay. And thank you for that. Now, I'd like to ask you about expedited removal, if I can, please.
Okay.
Because I watched the show, I know that you have said two things. You've said that expedited removal does not apply to people who have arrived on visas. However, you have also said that that expedited removal does apply if you have been here for less than 2 years. My latest entry into the US was in January. So the question is, given that I'm on an F1 visa and my latest entry was 2 months ago, does expedited removal apply to me?
I don't think so. But I think that the Trump people are going to try to expand it to see if they can pull that off. That's what I'm saying. That's why you have a very keen ear and you ask good questions. You're listening well. I think that what I'm saying is I believe they're going to try to expand expedited removal to include people who are in the United States on a visa and have been here less than 2 years. I don't know for sure, but that's what I think.
Okay. And in that case, when I travel domestically, I'm going to carry my I-20 just in case.
Yeah, at least a copy of it. Sure.
Yes, just to be safe. And one more question for you that I think is kind of important to ask. So I'm naive, I'm young, I'm in college. What are my rights with ICE as a visa holder?
Very limited. Very, very limited. What kind of rights are you wondering about?
I watched several of your YouTube shorts, and I heard you say, if you come into contact with ICE, don't talk to them, don't answer, don't do this, don't do that. But because I'm young and because I'm naive, I tell myself, I have a visa. I have an I-20. What danger am I putting myself in by just telling them, hey guys, my I-20 is active. I have a visa. Please let me go.
I think that I should clarify my prior statements. And I do think that identifying who you are and what your status, if you have valid status, it's worthwhile to say that and nothing more. Like if they start asking, if you say, I'm on an F1, I have a valid I-20, and I'm supposed to finish my studies in 2026, and then I plan on getting OPT. Other than that, like if they say, are you still going to class? Have you dropped any classes? I wouldn't answer any of that substantive stuff. But as far as name, rank, serial number, address, and proof of valid status, I would say yes to that. Otherwise, I'd say no to anything else.
Okay, I got you. All right, Jim. I know that people are behind me, so I'm not going to sit here and take too much of your time. Before I go, I do want to say, may Allah reward you abundantly in this month for your help and for all of the help that you're giving to our community. And before I go, I just like to say to the Muslims who are watching, God says in the Holy Quran, uh, with hardship there will be ease, and Allah is with those who are patient. So that's what we have to do. We just have to pull through this. All
Thank
right,
you.
Jim.
Thank you, Abu. See you, buddy.
May Allah reward you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. How about that? That's nice getting a little blessing on a Saturday. Amin. What to do if the I-145 is denied and the husband, what does that say? The husband's with another woman and won't help the case. Oh, yikes. That's a tough situation. That sounds like that case is over. That sounds like that case is over. I will post the link to the waiting room. There it is. All right. Daniel is here. Hello, Daniel.
Hey Jim, how are you?
Great. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. Thanks. Again, thank you so much for hosting this show every day. You're a lifesaver.
Sure.
I had one more question regarding my upcoming I-751. Two questions actually. So if my wife and I get a supplementary credit card for her, just before filing the I-751, and we take pictures of our credit cards and, with our names on it, our same last names, and submit that as a piece of evidence, do you think that is a good idea?
Sure. And I would include the mail that delivers the card because that'll have both your addresses at the same address. So I would include both. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what I know there's a YouTube video I can go look for, but from the top of your head, the most valuable pieces of evidence for a bona fide ongoing relationship with my wife.
Oh, I like this. So hold on. I'm going to make this a video next week. What marriage evidence is the best?
For an I-751.
Yeah, I think it's the same for both. But for a 751, we could do that. All right. So I actually had a little bit of a friendly debate with some other immigration attorneys on LinkedIn a while ago. I said putting a big chunky baby in their car seat on the officer's desk was the best, but I think most people disagreed with me and said, no, we think that the most important thing is the commingling of assets. The commingling of assets, right? So actually putting your money into the same account, using that. And so I think that, and because if you think about it from their point of view on a 751, they want to see that the marriage has developed. They understand that sometimes when you file for your spouse originally, that they might not have a social security number. They might have come on ESTA or a visa, or they might be a student and not have a social security number. They understand that you can't do all that stuff at first on the original go around. But after 2 years, I think they sort of hold you to a higher standard. They want to see that you're living together as spouses, that you're sharing a life, that you've gone on trips together, that you've made major purchases, that both your names are on a house or a car or things like that. I think those are I would say children, attempts at children. So if somebody's pregnant or had a miscarriage, the commingling of funds and big purchases, I would say those are the big ones.
So the first one, we haven't gone into that stage in our life yet.
Sure.
I'm sure USCIS will understand.
Yeah.
The second one, we have one shared bank account, but literally I'm the one who contributes to it, but she doesn't contribute to it, but I use it to pay our bills, our electricity, our rent, so it's for both of us, and that is okay to supply.
Is that because she doesn't work?
She does work. That bank account has both of our names on it. We both have debit cards on that bank account, but she doesn't contribute money to that bank account, only I do, and I pay like all the major bills. Is that still sufficient to provide?
It is, because it shows you live together, but it's not as good.
But it's better than nothing. So you'd advocate for that?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. I mean, if there's one account that's paying for both people's bills, I think that is good. But I think they might say, "Well, hey, sister, why don't you put your money in the bank account?"
She has her own bank account to which her income goes to.
Yeah, and
But
I would think they'd say, "Why are you not commingling it?" That seems like, is she the U.S. citizen or is she the immigrant?
she's the U.S. citizen.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like that so much. I don't know that I like the immigrant paying all the bills out of the immigrant's income and the U.S. citizen sitting pretty and keeping all of her own money. That seems transactional to me.
I mean, she's on all of my like.
Yeah, but that's not the same thing. I understand what you're saying, but let's say worst perspective ever, you're paying her bills so that she can get you your 10-year green card. I'm not saying that's what's happening, but that's how they view things.
Okay, for certain that's not happening. But how should I present this then to them when I submit my I-751?
I think you're stuck with what you got because it sounds like it's time to file, right?
Very soon, yes.
Yeah, so like that would have been better 2 years ago. That's what you should have done somewhere along the line in the last 2 years. You're probably going to apply for citizenship in the next 3 years or the next year. So I would say at some point you probably need to have a discussion about what you guys are doing with your finances. It just seems a little strange.
Well, I mean, does the fact that she's on all of my retirement accounts as a beneficiary and all that good stuff?
That's all good, but what I'm saying is it's not as good. Certainly still approvable, but it might get questions at the interview. And I think you guys got to be ready to talk about it intelligently and explain why all of her money is kept separate from you. That's, like I said, it sounds transactional.
Well, how would one answer said question when
By telling the truth. By telling the truth. What's the answer?
the truth is, I mean, we never really talked about it. Honestly, we've never really talked about like depositing our cash into one checking account. We believe, I mean, I try to avoid risk, so in a way it's backfired. But I'm like, if we have multiple bank accounts and if for whatever reason one gets hacked or something, at least we have another one.
No, that seems silly. That and you just gave the worst possible answer, which is we haven't talked about it. Because again, that sounds transactional. I mean, you have to remember, I'm being Jim the immigration lawyer. I'm being Jim the immigration officer. If I hear you say, "Well, we haven't really talked about it," then I'm like, "Well, what in the hell do you guys talk about? You guys don't talk about your money? That seems weird, right?"
Oh, we talk about our money all the time. It's just like there's a very mutual understanding of like she's working part-time in a retail store. I'm I'm the main breadwinner, so there's a go ahead, sorry.
But when you say we haven't talked about it, that's not good.
About like having or contributing to the same bank account. Yeah, we've not talked about that. That is true.
Yeah, and I mean, just remember, think of it from their perspective. They think that every immigrant who's applying for an immigration benefit is cheating the system, especially now, right? And so they think, boy, isn't this strange? He pays all of her bills and she pays none. She keeps all her money, and and when I asked them about it, they gave me these squirrely answers about how they've never really talked about it.
Well, I mean, she pays like a few bills. I mean, I don't know if that's any justification, like some subscriptions and whatnot for both of us.
Yeah,
But does that help? Like, or like,
no. The fundamental question is why a husband and wife aren't putting their money into the same account.
okay, I'll talk to her about it, and then we'll have a discussion tonight, and then
And I think we have to understand too, and this is why I asked. I think that we have to that one of the important aspects of it is you're the immigrant and she's the U.S. citizen. If it was the other way around, I think it'd be a lot more acceptable. I mean, to me, I would have that conversation. I'd have that conversation probably 3 times before we file it and be ready to talk about it if we get an interview. But I might fall back on, well, I'm just sort of traditional dude and be sort of like a male chauvinist pig and say, I just think the man should pay for everything. And that her little job is just more for fun, not for real. The real money that we're talking about is the money that comes out of my account and we both have access to it. So shut the fuck up.
I mean, we've we've actually it's what you said is kind of has been the mindset. I remember we had this one conversation where I'll pay all the bills, and her money will be the fun money for our vacations and all that stuff. I remember that. But I don't know how to justify it. Like do I just say, oh, we have a plan of like where?
No, I mean, as always, I mean, you advocated pretty well with me. You advocated pretty well. You're like, well, she's still my named beneficiary on everything. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, we are on all the accounts. We both have access. To me, it's all about who has the access to the account. It's not like it's not like she's hoarding her money. And truth be told, I tease Imani all the time because there's money Imani has. I don't know where it is. It's not a lot, but she has money. Like she like mysteriously shows up with $100 bills sometimes, and I'm always like, what the heck? So so I would say that part of that is just that, but I would sort of, I mean, have a good couple discussions, see what it looks like, and maybe you can tweak things up a little bit. But at the end of the day, I don't think this is a deal killer. I think it's certainly approvable.
Okay.
But the most important thing is going to be how you frame it.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely take that into consideration. So the first valuable thing was a kid, which we don't have. The second was the mingling of assets and all that. And what was the third one again? Sorry.
Big purchase or big commitments, like a long lease or a house.
Oh yeah, we have our rental contract. We bought some concert tickets. She bought me a birthday gift recently, so we'll have those receipts.
I think you're fine.
Okay, perfect. Cool. I'll talk to her, and then I'll probably hop on the show another day, and then maybe she might even speak with you. She'll be nervous as hell, but
we always like to have a side character. Thank you, Daniel.
All right, thanks, man.
Bye, buddy. All right. Hello, lawyer. I got a question to ask you. I passed my test for citizenship now then it goes away. I'm near St. Louis. How do I go about asking you legal advice for steps on my girlfriend to come to the U.S. from UK? Send us an email, info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com, info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com, or call 314-961-8200. I filed for my husband and daughter since September of 24. I haven't heard anything back. No receipt notices? I would say you at least get receipt notices. Let's go to Mrs. Ali. Hello, Mrs. Ali. Hello. We can't hear you. All right, Mrs. Ali's down for the count. Lulu is here. Hello.
Hello, Uncle Jim. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing, Lulu?
I'm fine. I'm good. I have a question. Okay, I applied for my. Okay, I came here with a B1, B2 last year February. So I overstayed my visa for 2 months. I get married in September, and then I apply for adjustment of status in January, when on the 6th, and then I did my biometrics on the 14th. On the 15th, I got approved for my work permit. Now I wanna ask, we stay in Missouri in O'Fallon and we wanna move to Illinois. Is it going to be a problem?
Southern Illinois?
Yes, like in Mesquite.
Mascuda? Yeah, so you'd still be in the St. Louis field office. No, you'll just have to update your address. It shouldn't change things much because you'll still be part of the St. Louis field office's jurisdiction, so that should be fine.
Okay, so I wanna know, and my husband, like he was working previously, when I was applying, he was working in a company for 10 years. So now he just got a job. Okay, is it going to affect my application?
Did he have a co-sponsor, or was he the only person that signed the I-864?
He's the only person.
Does he make enough with both jobs, the old job and the new job?
Yes, he does.
Yeah, it's all good.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much, Uncle
Yeah,
Jim. Have a good
I
day.
would say if you get an interview, bring updated evidence of his employment.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Thank you so much, Uncle Jim.
Bye, Lulu. See ya. Adrian's asking if she called me Uncle Jim. Yes, I like it when people call me Tio or Uncle Jim. I don't know why, but I like it. Really, Tio is what I really like. Let's go to thank you, Jim. Hello.
Hey Jim, how you doing?
I'm well. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I have a quick question for you. It's for my friend.
Great.
All right. So he actually got his green card through your firm by lawsuit. He's married to a U.S. citizen for 8 years, and they have two kids.
Yep.
So his I-485 was filed in 2018. You know, there's a question in the I-485 that asks is that have you ever worked without authorization?
Yeah.
So he answered no. So I-45 was filed 2018 and was approved 2019. So when it was approved, there's a guy that they attend church at the same place. So he applied when he got his permit. He applied for jobs, so he was waiting to get hired. So he normally go and help his friend. He's like a carpenter. He normally go and help him, and maybe like twice in a month. And so when they go to church, he will hand money to him in an envelope and say, "Hey, this is it. I appreciate your help." So he got his. So after that, he applied for the job that he really wants. So he was hired. But some jobs, the company always asks you for like a resume, like your experience and stuff. So he did mention his friend in the resume that I used to help this person, blah 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 blah, in the resume. So he was thinking that is it going to be a problem when it's time for him to apply for his citizen, because the guy was giving me cash, just something like that.
So this brother got his green card, and he didn't list this carpentry part-time work that he did with a friend. And you said it was like 2 times or 2 weeks or
No,
two.
no, he used to help like maybe twice in a month. He wasn't hired. He just helped him out.
Yeah, well, that's working.
Yeah.
That's working. Yeah.
Right. But he got his work permit before that. He got a work permit before he started helping the guy. So when he filed his I-485, he marked the question, "Have you ever worked without authorization?" No.
Yeah, well, that sounds right. If he had a work card, then he could work.
Okay, so don't you think there's going to be a problem when it's time for him to apply for his citizenship while he mentioned his friend in his resume, in his current job?
So no. So the whole question with misrepresentations, these are the two main questions. Number one, is it material? Is it an important distinction? Would it have changed the outcome if he had said yes or no? Or if he had disclosed the legal carpentry work, would that keep them from giving him the green card, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that doesn't make sense, right? So that wouldn't have changed the outcome. So that should be fine, okay?
Oh, okay.
And then the other question is, did it cut off the line of inquiry that the officer might have found out something that might have kept him from giving him the green card? And I don't see how it was. So this is not going to come up. This is not a big deal.
So you don't think it's going to come up like when it's time for him to apply for his citizenship?
Well,
maybe they might check his resumes and all that stuff and say, "Oh,
First of all, I've never had them check a resume. Second of all, he should be disclosing all of his jobs anyway. But third of all, nobody's going to care that he didn't list legal carpentry work that he was doing after he got his EAD.
Okay." And also, in his resume, the date that he was helping this carpenter, he actually made a mistake with the date, just in case if they're trying to check for his resume. Would that be a problem? Like he
My
made
brother,
a mistake.
they don't check the resume.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much.
See you, buddy.
All right.
All right. Let's see what TikTok's going on. Good afternoon. I need to adjust my status. Do I need USA citizen as my witness, or can a green card? I don't know. I hope you're well. I have a question. Can an F1 student travel to Canada for travel safety? Again, nobody should be leaving the United States unless they have their citizenship. Oh, somebody's sending me the hat and mustache. That's fun. I have a friend who failed credible fear and judge refused to change it to positive. That means that person's going to get deported, most likely. I-485 interview scheduled after mandamus. What do you expect? Lots of fun. That's what we wanted. That's why we sued, was to get the green card interview. Can I file for my husband green card even though his removal proceedings are administratively closed? I already answered that one. After 5 years, I got a case decision waiting 18 months. What do I do after? It sounds like you probably need to sue. I am due for citizenship. File now. I would say yes, unless you're wondering about applying on the 3-year rule and your marriage is shaky. I wouldn't do that. Or if you think they might take away your green card because of something in your past or a crime, then you might not apply now. All right. Oh, thank you, Adrian. Jim's a really cool dude. He helped me a lot. I appreciate that. That makes my day. That's why I do this. That is why I do this. And plus, it passes the time when you're fasting during Ramadan. Aldane is here. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon, Jim.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Great.
Yeah, I have a question for you. I have a friend that he's looking for co-sponsor, but I'm a green card holder right now. Would I be able to help him?
Yep. Green card holders or U.S. citizens can be the co-sponsor.
Okay, and is it like my family and his family combined?
No, each so you can't add together the money that the sponsor has and the co-sponsor has.
No,
The
I'm talking about like the family size. That's what.
Okay, so let me talk to me about your family. What do you have?
Well, we have three kids, me and my wife, and he got two kids. So
But he's the only one that needs the sponsorship, not his kids,
no,
right?
yes, just him.
Okay, so it's you, so that's 27.5, then your wife is 33.5, then your next kid is 39.5, then the next kid is 45.5. How many kids do you have? Two or three?
Three.
So you need to make about 52,000 for each of the last 3 years to be the co-sponsor.
Okay, and I make around 70.
Good. So you should be good.
And one more question. I'm looking to apply for citizen within probably the next month.
Yeah.
But after that, I'm gonna try to. After I get my citizen, I'm gonna try to help my mom.
Yep.
Spot.
Great
Would
question.
that would
Yeah.
that would
So you got
me?
Yep. You got to keep. Sorry, I should let you ask the question, but I know what the question is. So let's say all that happens, and let's say he gets his green card, and you then want to sponsor your mom. You make 70, so you would just have to add another 6,000 for her, so you'd still be fine. But
Okay.
the bigger question is, Jim, if I'm getting ready to go through citizenship and I'm getting ready to sponsor my mom, do I really want to be a co-sponsor for someone else? And I think the question to that might be no.
Oh. Okay.
All right.
So for me to sponsor my mom, I have to wait for him to.
No, you don't have to wait. No, but it still counts. You still have to count. Like if you did an I-64 3 years from now, after you become a citizen and after he gets his green card, then you have to list you, your wife, your three kids, and him and your mom.
Okay. And do they look into just my income or with my wife combined?
Well, she'd have to sign an affidavit as an I-64A. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because with my wife combined, it's way more than that.
Yeah.
It's just
So I think you guys are fine.
okay. All right. Thank you. So I've been trying for a few weeks now, but
Sorry, man. It's crazy. I mean,
appreciate it. Thank you for your good work.
we got like 700 people watching right now.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Okay, bye. What a nice guy. Isn't he a nice guy? Omar's trying to get me and Hina to agree to take his asylum case when we haven't even talked to him. Omar, that's not how it works. You run the case past us for free. We tell you how much it costs to represent you, and then we tell you what we think your chances of success are. We can't sign up cases during the show based on chat, right? Every case is different. You threw out a few facts about your situation, but we got to do a little bit of digging before we figure out if we're going to take you on. So send it away and we'll let you know. Yaya, hello. Hello, Yaya. Are you there? All right. Are you there? No luck. All right. Let's go to Chris. If you turn off your camera, I'll pull you up. Let's go to Sunny. Hello, Sunny. Hi, Sunny.
Hello.
Hi, go ahead.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I just had a few questions. Um, I I'm starting. Oh, I just want to let you know that we do have a lawyer, and she just started practicing immigration law. So we want to confirm some information. She's saying only submit the last year of tax returns. She says
Wrong.
that they're wrong.
Wrong. Wrong. 3 years.
3 years. Okay, but in 2022, I was a dependent with my sister. In 2023, I only earned $10,000. But in 2024, that's when I got, because I was in school, but I graduated end of 2022. And in 2023, I was just trying to take some exams, which is why I wasn't able to earn enough. Now I did get a job in 2024, but I earned 35,000, which is above the required amount. And I filed taxes for all of the years. So should I still be, so with that, the 2022, my sister filed my taxes as with me as a dependent, but technically I've been filing taxes. So should I still be giving all 3 years, or should I just give the last year?
You need to give all 3 years, and more importantly, you need a co-sponsor. You know that, right?
Okay. No, she told me that if I have 35,000, I don't need a co-sponsor.
So it sounds to me like this person doesn't know what they're doing.
Okay. I will let my husband know about that. And my dad has a green card, and he just spends a few weeks in the US and then comes and goes, comes and goes. He's had it since 2012. He's had the parole a few times, and he's coming back. He's not in the position to move here to get a passport. What do you suggest that he should do, just so that he has a lower risk of, getting in trouble with at the airport?
Who is this we're talking about now?
That's my dad, my father.
Oh, so a different case.
Yes.
Okay, so when did Dad become a lawful permanent resident?
2012.
And how much time on average does he spend in the United States each year?
Barely a month.
And you understand that the name of the card is the permanent residence card, right?
Yes, I know that is a problem, something that I've been trying to talk to him about, but he's not in a position where he would be able to set up his business in America. So that's the problem.
Why did he get a green card then?
It's also that he got a green card before we adopted my younger brother. And in Pakistan, adoption is like I spoke to you before about all of this. So it's just that once he got the green card, things sort of changed, and then he just never like gave it up. He's just trying to keep it there with him. So
They're not going to let him keep it. He's not doing what he's supposed to do. A green card never was supposed to be to make life easier, traveling back and forth to the United States. But that's definitely, I mean, if he tries, next time he comes back, they're probably not going to let him in, or they're going to put him in removal.
if I just like, I'm not holding you to the percentage, but how, like, he's traveling from New York. Do you think that he should travel from the New, like, he has sisters in Philadelphia and he has a daughter in Washington. Do you think he should just travel like through Philadelphia because it might be an easier airport, or it doesn't matter?
As I said many times, you can get the nicest officer in the worst office, or the worst officer in the nicest office. I don't play that game of where to travel.
Okay. When I'm talking to him, could you give me a percentage of me telling him that this is how probable it is that you're going to get stuck at the airport this time?
I'd say right now 80%. They're looking for your dad. I mean, they're not looking for your dad, but they're looking for your dad, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, they're looking for people with the same story.
Yeah.
Okay. My aunt does want to hire your firm for my dad. Would there even be any point of doing that?
Hire, nothing to do. What would be being hired to do?
In case he has his green card snatched, she wants somebody to be able to fight. Like, she's like, oh, because that happened to a relative, and she was able to like hire a lawyer and then get them their green card back.
That would be a deportation case, and we're not taking new deportation clients right now, so it would be somebody else. But this idea that you can have a lawyer on call when you come through customs or when you get detained by CBP, that's sort of a joke. They don't listen to us. They hang up the phone.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Those are all my questions.
Bye, Sonny. See ya. You got it. Raphael said, I believe they're going after elderly people who do this thing. That's what he heard. I heard that too. Miriam, that sounds like something we would do. The team, if you want me to look at what you sent over, tell them that you were on the show and Jim wants to take a look at that of what you sent over. But if they said there's nothing to do, then I trust them. That's sort of the way we do things. So that wouldn't surprise me if that's what they say. Let's go to Kindu. Hello.
Hey, Jim.
What's up?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for pulling me up. First of all, I will start by thanking you because with your counsel and all the counsel you've been providing here, I was able to get my green card just following your instruction and how to apply and things like that.
Fantastic.
So thank you so much.
I'm happy for you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So I have another case here. This is my son's case. My wife is a petitioner because she's a U.S. citizen. And my son currently lives in Uganda. And as you might know, the U.S. Embassy in Uganda is closed right now. So all the interviews are held in Nairobi, Kenya.
Right.
So I went to Nairobi, Kenya, because my son had an interview in March 11. So I went there with all the original documents and took my son to the interview. And we went there. But it was just so crazy because, I always go with the principle that you tell us every day, put all the documents there. Don't let them ask you documents. So I uploaded everything you can imagine we had in that case. Everything was uploaded until like the day before the interview. I went on and tried to check which document was not there and put it there. So we went to the interview and all of a sudden, the officer starts saying that my joint sponsor didn't meet the poverty guidelines requirement, which was not accurate because this guy make over 100K a year. So it was not accurate. So I kind of told her that, but in a nice way, like that is not accurate because this is how much this person makes. And she's like, but that's what he claims. How do you prove that? And I said, here's the W-2. And the W-2 is uploaded on the case there. And so I don't see them here. And I'm like, no, they are. I even know the place they are. I can tell you this is a second document. This is a third document. And I give her that. I say the W-2 of 2024 is the third document. W-2 of 2023 is the last document. Go ahead and you see them. And she's like, yeah, I can see the W-2 of 2024, but I don't see the 2023. So you know what? Just go and upload it. I'm like, no, it's there. You want me to give you a copy, a physical copy? Because I have them here. It's there. And she's like, no, just go and upload it. And she put us on administrative proceeding because of that, because of a W-2 of a joint sponsor. So she was just switching from one problem to another. She will say he didn't meet requirement. I prove that he does. And then she switch. There is no W-2. I prove that there is a W-2. Then she starts switching. No, there is no W-2 of this year. And she just gave us the yellow slipper and we ended up coming. So because of, I saw one of your video. I was in Africa, I was in Nairobi. One of your video that, green card holders should not leave the country if they are not citizen and things like that. And I spoke to my wife and I was, you know what? I'm coming back right now. So I came back. And my son left. I left my son with a friend that I don't even know very well in Nairobi. They kept the passport of my son. I'm very worried. My wife and I, we just so stressed. We don't know what's going on. Our son is in the end of somebody we don't really trust. We don't really know that much. And we are in the US. We don't know what to do. And I was just saying, you know what? Jim might also don't know what to do, but let me just go there and put all this problem on his hand and see what he will give me as an advice.
Okay. So how old is your son?
He's 13.
I'm sure it was very hard to leave him.
I was crying on the airplane. The flight attendant had to come talk to me several times. It was just so bad. And past that, I haven't seen him for like 8 years. That was the first time to see him, and I just spent like a week with him.
Any trouble coming back?
No, not at all.
Good.
I was, yeah, and plus I don't know if this is fake, because there is a list of countries that was going around from New York Post saying that, you know, they'll be banned. My country is among these countries, so I was expecting really to have issue, but no, I didn't.
Well, you did. She dragged it out because she knows the ban's coming.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's my understanding, because every document is there, everything is there. I think I told my wife that I think she's holding up because of this ban. That's what I'm thinking.
Right. So, when did USCIS approve the I-130 that your wife filed for him?
It was approved in October 2023.
And so the State Department has had the case for a year and a half, and they scheduled him for an interview, and then they pulled this crap.
That's correct.
So, I mean, I'm hopeful that when the ban comes out that it's challenged in court and then it's put on pause. If I were you, what I would do is I would ordinarily I was going to say, let's wait 3 months and see what happens before suing. But if I were you, I'd sue them this week in the hopes that it might nudge them. You might get in before the ban goes totally into effect. You might not. The ban might go into effect on Monday and a judge might not enjoin it. But I think that otherwise you're waiting until Trump's out of office for him to come.
Jeez.
Right. She really did you wrong. And the actual bullshit of the whole thing is that cases don't get sent to the embassy unless the affidavit of support issues have been sorted. Right?
Exactly. And
not supposed to revisit that at the interview. She was just dragging it out to find a reason to put you in AP.
That's exactly what happened, because even my wife and I, we do qualify. Like when we applied, we were just doing like self-employment things, so we didn't have a lot of income. But currently, we all have like stable income, and we by my wife and I, we qualify to sponsor our son. Like we didn't even need a joint sponsor. On top of that, my son is a minor, a child of a U.S. citizen. So with the exemption, I-864W, he shouldn't even been asked any other financial document, which we submitted that form. So we didn't, like, she should not even ask us those documents she was asking for.
Where do you live?
I live in Seattle.
So, man, that's a lot. How long does it take to get to Kenya from Seattle?
In terms of money?
No, flight. Like, how long does it take?
Oh, that was in total 24 hours with all the layover and stuff. 24 hours.
So, if I were you, I would do two things. One is I would sue, and another one is I'm not a big believer in asking for congressional help, but you have at least one good senator in Washington. I would ask them to intervene with you at the embassy because you're worried about the ban going into effect, and see if they can shake something loose in the next couple of days. But I would probably do both.
Okay, thank you. Because I was already drafting an email to send to them, to send to the consular officer, and then talk to the Congress man. But before I did that, I just preferred to come to you and, you know, share this experience.
I'm sorry, Kindu. It's terrible. Like, keep us posted, okay?
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, brother. All right, that'll do it for Kindu and for me and for all of us. We'll be back. I might do a show tomorrow. Might just relax. I need to get away from Trump stuff for a while. I'm sort of fried. I need to do some meditation and some journaling and sort of get back on track. Got about a week left of Ramadan. I hope you all have a great weekend. I'm sorry I didn't get to everybody. We got a lot of people watching. I could probably go all day. But I hope you guys have a great rest of your Saturday, and we'll see you guys. If not, Monday's show will be at probably 12 o'clock. Have a great night, everybody. Thanks, guys. I'm great about that, other than trying to help people who are in the state of